romantic love, because we are exploring many doors of love, ultimately to the same goal, which is liberation. And why love? Because it's so close to us. It is a part of our being. But before we start, again, any question from yesterday? Anything which is not understood? Any thought? Right. So we will start with a chant. And the chant is Premam Guru, Neham Guru, Hridayam Guru, Sarvam Guru. Premam means love. Let love become our Guru, our teacher. Neha means affection. Let the affection become our teacher. Hridayam means heart. Let our feeling heart become our Guru. Sarvam Guru means let that love which is everywhere become our Guru. Because love indeed is a great teacher, in fact the greatest. Why it is the greatest teacher? Because in order to love, we have to die. Not physically, but our ego, our identity. So love is the art of dying. That is why love doesn't persist. Because we refuse to die, still we want to live with our old identity, old ideas, old self. While we all desire for that freedom, but we don't realize in order to become free in love, we have to let go the old self. And that becomes a problem. So love is death and death is love. They are two sides of the same experience. Because when we are able to say, I'm not there, only you are there, that is where the true love begins. But in love, we always say, I'm here, I'm there, and you are secondary. Love cannot move on. Love will stop. Because we want to retain the same old self when it's still expecting something beautiful in relationship. That is an impossibility. So that is where love becomes Guru, and Guru means who can kill you. If a Guru consoles you, don't go to that Guru ever. Means if a Guru is giving you all soft, nice, positive thing, that means that Guru wants your loyalty, wants your money, wants your mind. Because the very definition of Guru is who is going to destroy, a complete destruction of the old ways. And that is why love has that power. And we will explore slowly about it today from biological point of view, from science point of view, and also psychologically and spiritually. But first of all, the chant. So I will chant it first, and please respond to me. Premam Guru,
Premam Guru,
as we discussed, love comes from the word lug, means desire. And the desire for love is the fabric of nature, of the universe and the whole cosmos. It is in each cell of our body. It is hardwired in our brain. That is why if you look, since the dawn of civilization, the romantic love, of course love has so many varieties, and we are talking here about feeling love. Because yesterday we talked about very strong emotional love which moves in the outer world, it wants to change it. That is why revolutions are created, reformations are created. We want to change the society. But that is the external revolution. But now with the feelings, we move inside. Now it is going to be inner revolution. Although this love is for our parents, for our children, friends and relatives, but none is so powerful as romantic love. And the reason again, as I mentioned, it is hardwired. And the credit goes to a great researcher and anthropologist, Helen Fisher. She wrote a very beautiful book. It's about philosophy, it is about psychology, but it is also about biology. And the name of the book is Why We Love, the chemistry of love. And what she found after extensive survey and research, that romantic love is a fundamental motivation. Motivation means which inspires us, which pushes us to fulfill it, just like hunger and thirst. So it has a fundamental importance. And why it is so important? Because it is total. Because once we experience romantic love, it soaks our body, our thoughts, our emotions, everything. It is a madness, but it is a beautiful madness. Because this madness has possibility of a leap, define everything. That is why it is called inner revolution. That is why people are very frightened of love. Because romantic love defies all boundaries. So if you look into the history of culture and civilization, for thousands of years, it is described in such details. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, sages, kings, poets, musicians, they are talking about it for last 10,000 years, and still it goes on and on and on, because it remains forever mysterious. We watch movies, we read literature, we sing songs, we listen to the music, all revolving around the romantic love. But it never gets old. It is always very fresh. We never feel stale about it. We all long for it, because the beauty is, it is very mysterious. Why it is mysterious? That we experience a little bit, but more of it comes. More we discover, more of it comes. And a point comes when this mystery cannot be resolved. And that is where we become mystics of love. So Kabir, a Mira, a Jesus, Rabia, all these great sages. And in India there is a whole tradition of bold singers. So if you go to the east coast of India, you will find hundreds of these men and women. They leave their home, and what they do? They simply sing and dance in love. That's it. They beg their food. They are called bold singers. And what is the meaning of bold? Bold means babla. Babla means who is insane. Because when normal people see them, it looks like they are insane. Because that is the very nature of love. If you are trying to stay sane in love, then you will miss it. Then we will miss it. That is why in Sufism, it starts all with human love. And it is called Ishq Mazazi. So there is a very beautiful word in the Middle Eastern language, Ishq Mazazi. Ishq Mazazi means human love. But they always say that is not enough because it is going to disappear. Because Ishq Mazazi or human love is merely a door, and where it goes to, where it takes us to, Ishq Hakiki. Ishq Hakiki means soulful love. And that is merely another station of love, because after Ishq Hakiki comes the love of God. But that is not enough, because then we take a leap even beyond God. And once we take the leap beyond God, mystery of the love cannot be solved. We become the mystics of love. And what is the definition of mystic of love? Mystic of love is not the person who solved the mystery of love, because mystery of love can never be solved. The mystic is the person who lives forever with the mystery. If anybody said, I solved the mystery, he or she is no more mystic. He or she is moving in the realm of known, because the mystery of cosmos is such, it can never be solved. And we come to a point where we say, no, I am not looking for any solution. Why? Because who is looking for the solution? My mind. But in those moments, mind is silent. There is nobody to ask the question. There is nobody to solve the mystery. We become the mystery. We become the ocean. We become the infinite and boundless love. And there, the mystic of love is born. Before that, it is always mind in one or the other form. So indeed, the romantic love is very revolutionary, because that is where first time we become very creative. I experience that love, and many of you experience that love, and suddenly we can become singer, we can become musician, we write poetry, we become so creative, whole of the night we are awake, trying to create something new, because the romantic love touches the very core of life, because it defies all rules and boundaries. And not only that, it creates such turbulence. Everything becomes upside down. Still, I remember Chitra Singh is a great ghazal singer, which is a Sufi type of singing. It is very common in India. And she sang this line. It's a very beautiful line. रात भी, नींद भी, कहानी भी. Means here is a long night and I'm tired and sleepy. But the problem is I have a story. And this story is of my love. So then there is a long night, there is a night. I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm completely weird out, but there is a story. And the second line is, हाय क्या चीज है ये जवानी भी. Oh, my goodness, what this young age is all about means love. Because that is the agony of love. The night is there, one is weary, one is sleepy, but the story of love goes on and it doesn't allow us to take rest. That is the very essence of love. That is why it creates such cruelty, such violence, such ecstasy, such sacredness. If you really look into the history of love, so many wars were waged because of love. So many suicides happened because of love. So many murders happened because of love. But so many great things were done, the music, the poetry, and in India, I think Indian built such a beautiful monument in the city of Agra. It is called Taj Mahal. It is called Taj Mahal. It is one of the wonders, and it was built for the same love. And then I came to know that somewhere a king built a tower in Mayan civilization because that king loved his wife so dearly. So what he did, that he built two tombs, one for the wife and one for himself. And the beauty is when sun rises or sets, the shadow of one tower falls on the other tower. So even after death, their tombs' shadow are touching each other. My wife recently visited that. I think it is in Belize, as far as I remember. So that is a new, that is how the romantic love is so powerful. It has such an ability, such a capacity, such a energy to transform, but often it doesn't happen because still our old self very quickly comes back. And here I will take a very scientific view and I will introduce, of course this term is not mine, but I will introduce the term hypofrontality. Anybody heard this term? Hypofrontality. Are you disturbed by this noise? Yes. So we have to fix it. I will try. Is it better?
Yes.
What is hypofrontality? Because if you understand this term, you will understand creativity, you will understand spirituality from brain's point of view. The hypo means less functional. It becomes less functional. Frontality means our prefrontal lobe. Because if you study the brain, we have various parts of the brain, and one part of the brain called frontal lobe. This part, very recent, neocortex, human brain. What is the function of this frontal brain? It contains rules, regulation, culture, voices of our parents, sense of self-consciousness, doubts, inner critic who is constantly judging, criticizing us. So that is the quality of this frontal lobe. Now, what is the meaning of hypofrontality? When this frontal lobe, this part which is the critic, which is the doubter, which is preventing us doing anything extraordinary, is functioning less, what will happen? We will be released from its clutches. Because this is the one which divides us, which fragments us. It never allows us to function as one unit, as one energy, as one person, a fully integrated individual. So what happens when it is functioning less? We will be suddenly have no doubt about our capacities, about our abilities, about our life, about our energies. And when that happens, we experience a unique phenomena in human being. It is called flow. Suddenly, these puddles of our life, they unite. It forms a river, and that river flows. We are in the state of flow. And this term was brought by a great Hungarian psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It's a long name, but you can remember just Mihaly. And what he found, that human beings, whenever they are in this state, they do something new. When they are not in this state, they follow the pattern. And the reason being, this flow allows the trapped energy of life to be released. That is where, when we are in a state of flow, we defy all old rules. When we have a full confidence in ourselves, that is where we discover new things. We become creative, we become innovative. Any human being which ever did anything new, it is because of the state of flow. So when Einstein discovered the theory of relativity, what happened to him? He was in a state of flow. When Beethoven was composing his Ninth Symphony, when Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, they were painting, or also Picasso, when Newton discovered the gravity, when somebody is skydiving, or they are winning the 100-meter race or winning a marathon, what happens extraordinary in them? That suddenly this frontal lobe is functioning less. It is called hypofrontality. Because suddenly that critic, whatever is prohibiting us, those voices of our relatives, friend, teacher, religion, culture, they are not there. We dive right into our own being. And one of the ways we do this by extreme sports. So you really wonder why anybody will be taking so much risk. Why they want to drive a race car with a 300 kilometer speed, why they are diving from the plane, why they are surfing when they know if even a moment goes wrong, these millions of tons of water will crush them. Why these extreme sports people? Because what happens when you enter into that zone, it is also calling entering into the zone. When you enter into it, your mind and body first time become one, and we experience flow. And in that flow, we experience life fully, first time. And they get addicted to it. These mountain climber, you ask when they are on precipice, it's a question of few inches. And in that moment, when that flow happens, they don't care. There was a beautiful old English film, I don't know some of you watched or not, The Chariots of Fire. It was a very beautiful movie about the runners in Olympics. And one of the runner, he start running, and gradually he is developing hypofrontality, and at the end of the race, his hands are raised towards the sky. And of course, he wins the gold medal. Because in those moments, once you touch the flow, you will surpass all human boundaries. And in that 1,000-meter race, you will excel by 2 seconds. That is why we go for these extremes, because we want to access that. And it is connected with the neurochemistry. Why I am describing it? Because same neurochemistry happens in love. So the beauty is hypofrontality. You can either approach through these extreme measures, or you can approach through meditation, you can approach through love, or you can approach through addictions. Fundamentals are the same. Because why we become addicted? What we get out of it? Same thing, the moment you take mescaline, the moment you take DMT, the moment you take magic mushroom, the moment you take any drug, what happens? All that critic, all that inner judgmental voice is quiet down, and you dive right into the very core of the brain where we touch life. And the primary neurochemical which helps us experiencing that life is dopamine. Dopamine is the one which opens us for this life moment. We are all energized, we are all motivated, everything becomes high speed in us. And that is what happens in the love. So what is the main neurochemical of love is dopamine. Suddenly the world opens, everything sparkles. That morning can never be the same morning as before, because that morning sun is so beautiful, it is so warm, it is so full of glow. Each dew drop is reflecting that sun, and the breeze is so cool, it is so deep, because we never experience. It is the play of this dopamine. And that is what happens in extreme sports. And a very beautiful book written about it by Steve Kotler. If you really want to understand what happens in spirituality, what happens in addiction, what happens in extreme sports, Steve Kotler's marvelous book, The Rise of Superman. Because in those moments of flow, we become temporarily a superman or a superwoman. Why? What is the definition of superman or superwoman? When we defy the old boundaries. We just take a leap. That book contains hundreds of stories of these people. And they were not at all spiritual. But if you really look into this story, it seems like they were truly spiritual people, but they never believed in any religion or spirituality. Because for brain, the mechanism is the same. the rise of Superman. And he concretely showed also anything in which we excel, we become creative, we become innovative. We have to experience that flow, and dopamine is the primary neurochemical which is connected with this flow. That is why we take drugs. Because in that moment, we become Superman or Superwoman. And dopamine comes with another neurochemical called norepinephrine. You heard adrenaline. Adrenaline gives you energy, but it brings fear and anxiety also. Adrenaline, we are scared. The quality of noradrenaline or norepinephrine, it gives you tremendous energy, but without any anxiety. So now not only you are confident, you are motivated, you are moving forward, actually you have that super energy. That is what happens in love. When we are in love, not only we are so confident, we are so motivated, our mind is running with full speed, but we are energetic also. And in those moments also we expand tremendously, and that is the quality of the third neurochemical, which is called endorphin. And in that pain we can take any love, any pain. We can stay awake for nights and nights because there is such a sense of energy and expansion. And also the fourth neurochemical, which is called serotonin. And serotonin creates obsessiveness. Because when we are in love we become obsessive. And all these qualities, if you really see, it is equivalent to a religious experience. That is why we say the love, the addiction, the religious experience, and extreme sports, there is no fundamental difference. Difference is only of images, what we are thinking at that time. So an atheist will never think of God. Atheist will think whatever is around him or her. But the fundamental is the same. So if you are succeeding in your meditation, it is also equivalent to love. It is all equivalent to addiction. It is all equivalent to extreme measures through which we go. That is why love breaks all boundaries. That is why love is so scary for the people around us. Because in this love, not there is only breakage of rule, but there is a possibility that person will never come back. Person will be released in his or her freedom, because it is a total revolution. It is inner revolution. It prepares our brain for the ultimate experience. But again, as I said, in most cases, it doesn't happen. And the reason is the turmoil is there, the turbulence is there, the storm is there. But as soon as it becomes a little diluted, our old patterns are waiting and they grab the brain again, and hypofrontality again become full frontality. We are reverted to our old ways. So even in meditation, even when you have such passion, such energy for meditation, you will experience the deeper state, but then you will come back. Why? Because we need change in the brain, a permanent change. Because the quality of the brain, it is neuroplastic. It can be molded, it can be changed. But it doesn't change very quickly. It takes some time. And so here I would like to emphasize that in us, consciousness doesn't evolve. What evolves in human being is our brain and body. Because so far you heard consciousness evolves. It is not true. Consciousness doesn't evolve. What evolves is our brain and body. Because whatever consciousness is possible is given to us in this moment. So that is why if you take just a grain of DMT, instantly in few seconds you will experience tremendous expansion of consciousness. How that tremendous expansion of consciousness happens? Because your brain is changed. Consciousness was already there given to you anything in this moment. So that is why many sages said, how much time it takes to become enlightened? It takes only a moment. A moment. Why that moment? Because the moment my brain changes, that consciousness is waiting. That infinite, that boundless, that absolute, unconditional consciousness is waiting, but my brain is not ready. Why I was emphasizing on it, that is what happens in the beginning as you start experiencing in your meditation, in your yoga, on your spiritual path, it is not going to stay. It will come, it will go. It will come, it will go. But somebody counted approximately it takes 7 major experiences before meditation becomes a permanent state. Because I was, I think earlier talking that whatever we do here is meditation technique, it is not meditation. Meditation means when you are always in meditative state. You are not meditating, you become the meditation. You are not praying, you become the prayer. But that depends on your brain. Once this instrument is strong enough, developed enough, changed enough, your experience is going to stay. And that is what happens in love, because ultimately this love is an experience of very deep meditation. As we discovered, it creates hyperfrontality, and because of that hyperfrontality, we are in touch with our life. And the experience of life is flow. So there is no difference between deep meditation and love. That is why romantic love is so beautiful. That is why it is so profound. But as I said, it will disappear because our brain cannot hold it. Usually, even if you are madly in love, it disappears within 6 months. In some cases, maximum 2 years. But the moment you become aware of this love, now you are going to change something consciously. Right? You will create a mechanism, I call it fencing around the flower. That flower of love is growing, but it is very delicate. It is so fragile. Just like a tiny wildflower which grows. Anything which will hurt, it will die, it will disappear. So the moment we fall in love and we become aware that we have to create a fence. And fence means become conscious of it. Conscious of it. So we would like to preserve it. Of course, we cannot preserve it because it will disappear. But it will help us to enhance its quality by a few percentage. So second time it happens, again a little more, third time a little more. And a point will come that this love cannot die. Because now it reached such a state, it can survive on its own. That is why love is an addiction. Because as I was saying, extreme sports, addiction, love and meditation, there is no difference. Love is an addiction because all addictions, they involve these 4 neurochemicals. So if you go into the depth of what causes addiction. It is the dopamine, it is the serotonin, it is the norepinephrine, and it is endorphin. But love is the most beautiful addiction because there is a possibility that the inner wine, the bottle of wine, the pot of nectar which sits in the brain will be open permanently. That is the most precious treasure in human being because nature took 14 billion years to brew, to distill this wine which sits inside us. And the love is one of the ways to open it. Because all of us have relationship. It is a part of our living because it is fundamental motivation because we are hardwired. But because we don't care about it, we take it so casually, it disappears. Because what remains very important is me, I, ego, my identity. And slowly this love disappears. Any question, anything which is not clear?
How do you keep this flow going?
Pardon?
How do you keep this flow going, staying conscious within it?
Yes.
Meditation to prescribe the naturality.
Right. What is meditation?
Well, staying conscious within yourself.
Exactly. If you reduce everything in human world to one word, that is awareness. A baby lives in nirvana, right? Baby lives in nirvana. But what is the problem with that nirvana? Baby is not conscious. Every single night we become fully enlightened. Every single night. Because night, what we call night, is a big pilgrimage which happens to us from waking state to the sleep with the dreams and then dreamless sleep. And the dreamless sleep is what? That is actually nirvana state. Complete tranquility is a full samadhi every single night. But that samadhi is useless because we are not conscious. Although we have some residue of that samadhi which we remember in the morning, when we wake up after deep sleep without dream, what we feel? Good, refreshed, rejuvenated. What feels good? If we don't have that dreamless sleep, we feel tired, weird out. So ultimately everything comes to one thing, becoming aware. And that is the definition of meditation. All meditations, no matter what meditation, all prayers, all our effort, yoga, breathing comes to a single point. We become aware. And in that awareness we become meditative about this love. And the moment we become meditative, our brain starts changing more. Its whole ground will change because neuroplastic, it is flexible, and now it can retain the experience of love for a longer period of time, which we call flow. That is why some of these skydivers, surfers, what happens? They become aware in that process and they follow that awareness. So after the skydiving, it doesn't die within 24 to 48 hours. It may persist for 2 weeks, a state of flow. And in that state of flow, mind and body are one. And that is where we are diving into creativity. And we become more aware. And our brain changes more. And a time comes when you need not to do anything. Because now this brain, this body are able to hold the experience uninterrupted, because flow is not created, it is already there. We simply become aware of it. And that kind of flow was experienced some of the great ones, including Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. If you look into their lives, it was explosively creative. Very rare. There are so many people creative, but those two unique, they are like superhuman. They were like having multiple hands and multiple heads. They were doing the work of 10 people, because that is the quality of flow. Uninterrupted flow. That is why many multinational corporations in Europe and North America, they are trying to create conditions for their creative people which will enhance the flow. Which will enhance the flow. Why? Because they are competing with other companies, so they want uninterrupted creativity. So they are trying to create the condition. And it is possible once we become aware of it, if we follow it. Yes.
I would like to understand a little better when you say like that a relationship like love can be like a flower, but if you want to protect it, you have to put kind of fence around.
Yes.
But these fences are like, what can it be? It's just like awareness when you are in the relationship and just knowing like what you're doing just for yourself or what you're doing for the relationship? Or?
That's correct. So what is this fencing? This fencing is sensitivity. That in that process of relationship, I become sensitive to other person. Because once I become sensitive to another person, I become very flexible. When I become very flexible, that person becomes very, very important for me. Then I don't take anything granted. A very simple thing of life, earning the livelihood, cleaning the house, sharing the cooking, just small things. Other person feels so good. Although it is a daily chore, but you decide, no, I'm going to treat that person in a very special way, in a very sensitive way. And that is what fencing is all about. Because love is very natural, you cannot do anything. Just like if somebody meets a girl or a boy, what they do? They plan and they go to a restaurant in a quiet corner where the light is dim, right? A candle is lit. Everything is so romantic in that restaurant, and the food is ordered, a wine glass is there. Why we create all this? Because we want something which is very young to grow. If we become careless, we are not sensitive. It is bound to disappear. So that is what I mean, fencing. A point will come when you need not to worry about fencing. The tree will become so mighty, it can withstand any storm of any kind. Because you cross that stage. And you know, in spite of all conflict, it is never going to die. And that mighty tree is about liberation, soulmatehood. That is where truly love becomes samadhi itself. Because as we say, love is all about one person, and that is me. Although it starts with the other, but other is merely a mirror. Other is merely a channel. Ultimately, this love will reflect back on me. And through other, I will discover myself. That is the goal of all love. But the beauty is, if love flourishes in me, love grows in me, it will envelop the other person. If love is not in me, then love is going to disappear in any relationship. So that is the purpose of all relationships. And particularly romantic relationship. As I said, it creates hypofrontality. It allows us to touch the life. It allows us to defy everything because it's a total revolution. It shatters everything which is cultivated as identity or ego. All rules, all regulation. That is the beauty of it. If we can become aware of it. So that is the third color of love. And I think I will stop here because we have some practice to do. And tomorrow we are going to, because here inner revolution began, we are going inside. Now we are going to jump into fire. Because now we are starting with self-love. So tomorrow, what this self-love is all about? What happens when we jump into it? Because tomorrow is going to be scary. Because love is, I always say, Pandora's box. Once you open Pandora's box, is so much negative is going to come. That is the process of love. In love, in which everything stays good, there is something fundamentally wrong. Because love is the biggest catharsis. Because love allows us to clean ourselves. And unless I'm cleaned, how I could love myself? And that is what happens when we start self-love. That everything is cleaned and accepted completely, whosoever I am. And that comes after romantic love. Because romantic love becomes the mirror. So now the journey goes inside. It is started with the body, started with external revolution, moved to other person. Now this is the time to soar inside, where love is becoming samadhi. Question?
Yeah, do you think we can suffer from love or we suffer just because of the ego?
Pardon?
We can suffer because of love
Yes.
or we suffer just because of the ego?
Both. Primary suffering, of course, is because of ego. And when we love, we suffer more because our ego is in question. But primary suffering is always about ego. But love wants surrender of the ego. So suffering becomes even more acute, more sharp, because everything is in very clear focus now. And we don't want to do that. So we escape, and that is where love finishes also. So ego in itself is suffering, but the love multiplies the suffering because it wants the surrender of the ego.
I'm just wondering about the self-love. Wouldn't
Yes.
it be better to work on self-love before we engage in any romantic love? Because if we are not clean and if we don't self-love, romantic love could only be suffering, isn't it?
You are very right, but the problem is that unless we dive deep into ourselves, we won't discover anything new. Under the name of self-love, we will be repeating the same pattern because the ego resistance is so much. Something has to be shattered in ourselves. Either it can be shattered by external means or by meditation or by love. Because how I will know what lies underneath? That is what happened to me very personally, because I was suffering for 30 years of panic attack and anxiety. And I escaped from it because effort was to escape from anxiety because I want to live comfortably in the world. But then comes the shattering blow of the love. And then everything opens up like a raw wound inside. And what I discover, the real person in me, not the persona which I am pretending to be. Because quality of love is it just opens you, it tears you apart. Without that, how I will know what is there? What is my real self is? In those moments, we get a glimpse. So we can try to work upon self-love, but something has to happen. It may not be romantic love, it may be any other.
Some other difficult situation
Tragedy.
in life. Yeah.
Tragedy, disillusionment, trauma, near-death experience, they all shatter us.
But people could be born with like higher awareness, and that awareness could help to
Absolutely.
self-love. Because when you look, some people are really not aware what's going on in their life,
Mhm.
while in others people's lives everything kind of goes smoothly.
Exactly. Because those people are born with that awareness. But it has to be exposed. Everything has to be raw. Everything has to be on table. Without that, we won't ever know. Because the cleverness of identity or ego is such, it will create a very clever web, cunning web, and forever we will be just wandering around.
One more question.
Yes.
The disturbing romantic love which causes you to come back to yourself and discover self-love usually doesn't survive, isn't it?
That's right. In most cases, it dies.
Yeah.
Unless we become aware. There is a potential, but in most cases, it doesn't. That is why so many doors of love. This is just one kind, but a very powerful one. Yes, please.
You mentioned that there are 7 major experiences on the path of love.
Somebody counted, yes.
Will you elaborate a bit more to confirm? Maybe not today.
That's right. Any experience which happens to us changes our brain or body. But in order for that experience to stay permanently or for a very long time, this instrument of body and brain have to change significantly. And it doesn't change in a single experience. So I'm meditating and I'm experiencing a sense of flow. But that flow will disappear. It will come again, it will stay for a longer period of time. It will change my brain and body more. Third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, and at seventh time, suddenly that experience will stay permanently.
So it's not specific experiences.
Pardon?
Not specific experiences.
Any experience.
Any experience.
Any experience. Because this brain has to change. But here I'm particularly focusing on the experience of flow. I started experiencing flow in 1984, but it became a permanent feature of my life in 96. 12 years. Now it is a part of the life. Even if it disappears in some moments, it's always there. So this morning, it was there. Waking up at 3 o'clock, everything is quiet and there is an uninterrupted flow. And in those moments, a new yoga is born. The 6th yoga, I talked about 5th yoga, now there is a 6th yoga, yoga of grief and sorrow. How to deal with the grief and sorrow. But it took 12 years. A very personal experience. After that, you know it will disappear for 10 hours, 12 hours, because sometimes you are struggling with the word, but you are 100% sure. The moment you are quiet, it will be there. Because now, the brain retains it. So it was Ken Wilber. Ken Wilber is a American philosopher. He mentioned, he's a great researcher. He said that, whatever he found in literature, it takes approximately 7 times of experiencing to make it perfect. So we'll stop and I will invite Shivagi to lead for meditation. This mic is not working so strongly, but it's still working partly.
Just give me 2 minutes while we can continue to breathe consciously. Sahajaste, everyone.
Sahajaste.
Any questions or any experiences that you would like to talk about from the prior practices? Everything going on well? Again, before I start the practice for today, we just have to remember these are only techniques. These are only practices to give us a space so that what life that is already happening within us, the consciousness that Jivasu was talking about, it's always there. These practices are barely a medium for us to become a little more receptive, a little more open to the consciousness that is always all around us. And we always give an example that all the signals are all there at all times. But if your television is an old television that catches only 20 channels, it can catch only 20 channels. You have to upgrade the receiver of your television so that from 20 it starts catching 200 channels. But that doesn't mean that suddenly the satellites are evolved. They were always there. So all the practices are only to enhance our receptivity to the consciousness that is always within us, around us. And with that thought, today's meditative practice is personally I would say a beautiful one. It's a practice which touches a bit of self-healing, because self-healing is a very important component of self-love. And in this practice, we will go back the memory lane of our childhood, our teenage, and ages of our young adult age. We will let all the distractions pass through us, if possible. Please get in a comfortable posture. I'm really sorry for all the noises. Just become light so that they pass through you. Please check if you are sitting comfortably, a posture which you can hold for next few minutes. Your back is comfortably straight. Your neck and shoulders are relaxed. There is no tension in your facial muscles. And your eyes are gently closed. Consciously trying to create a space of silence and stillness for yourself. There is no strain. I will now be counting backwards from 10 to 1. And at each count, please gently open your eyes and close your eyes. Till the time a moment comes when you don't feel like opening your eyes. Open your eyes gently and close them gently. Don't try to see anything. Just open and close your eyes at each count. 9. Opening and closing our eyes very gently. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Please keep your eyes closed now for the entire duration of the meditation. Feel the relaxation around your eyes and gently allow this relaxation to spread further and fill your face and head from within. Your forehead, cheeks, nose, lips and chin. and your head space is relaxed. Gently allow this relaxation to spread further to your neck, shoulders, and arms. This relaxation goes further down and fills up your chest and belly completely from inside. This relaxation goes further down to your legs, hips and thighs, shin and calf, up to the tip of your toes. Your whole body is completely relaxed at this moment. In this relaxation, gently take your awareness back to your childhood. Fun and playful childhood of yours. All the beautiful memories when you were a child. You as a child were full of laughter and playfulness. And then something happened. Something small or big that separated this playful child from you. The child became anxious, scared, traumatized, and it separated from you. With lots of love and warmth, invite this child back to your life now. And tell that child, everything is okay. You are a part of me. You are me. There is nothing to be scared of. You are safe with me. Feel, imagine or visualize this child stepping towards you and becoming one with you again. allow this child to feel completely relaxed and safe and playful again with you. Embracing this child completely. Please take your gentle awareness to your teenage years. The years when you were full of energy and passion, excitement, and so much was happening in your life. But then something happened, and this teenager got separated from you. Some event, some trauma, some rejection made this teenager, passionate teenager, get separated from you. With lots of love and your warmth, invite this teenager to come back to you and relax in your arms. Forgive this teenager for any guilt and tell this teenager, all is okay. You are part of me. You are me. There is nothing to be scared of. Feel, imagine or visualize this teenager stepping back to you and feeling completely relaxed and safe with you right now. Now gently take your awareness to your young adult days, the days in which you were full of action and responsibilities, the age of achievements and success, the age of making your dreams come true. You were flying, but then something happened. a trauma, a failure, a rejection, an experience that separated this young adult from you. With lots of love and your warmth, invite this young adult back to yourself. Say all is okay. You are safe and relaxed with me. Feel, imagine or visualize this young adult letting go of all the pain that it has been carrying and stepping towards you. Embrace it and tell this young adult, you are part of me. You are me. I am what I am today because of this child, because of this teenage, because of this young adult. While becoming one with all, if you wish, you can gently hug you. With lots of love and warmth. Hug that playful child, that passionate teenager, that responsible young adult. Hug them all. Allow all the boundaries between you and them break down, because all is one. Please chant after me. Sehajam premam asti asti.
Sehajam premam asti asti.
Sehajam premam asti asti.
Sehajam premam asti asti.
Now with playfulness and laughter. Sehajam premam asti asti.
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 And together with lots of fun, playfulness to bring the child back. Sehajam premam
asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti. Sehajam premam asti asti.
And together, I love for me.
I love for me.
I love for you.
I love for you.
I love all.
I love all.
I love, I love.
I love, I love.
I am 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 a smile.
I am a smile.
I am laughter.
I am laughter.
I am playful.
I am playful.
I am aware.
I am aware.
I am peaceful.
I am peaceful. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Keeping this huge smile on your faces and even a laughter, you may gently open your eyes.